Hello, ladies and gentlemen, or lady and gentlemen.
All
Anyway,
right, here we are. Evran Grant Steps. We're just getting inside, getting everything. Oh God, getting everything ready. I guess I'm gonna do it from my phone today. Hello, people. What's happening?
what's happening?
What is happening? Thank you, lady and gentlemen, for joining. Of course, what's happening is a lot. Actually, we cannot. We don't even know where to begin. But a lot has been happening. By the way, welcome to the Redtagmedia Podcast. Finally, we got our very own Wakalinda. She's been playing hard to get nowadays. I don't know why. And
we're not hard to get now. We just been there.
and we've got Wahamwami Wamasha, and I believe he's still enjoying his fruits. I can see he limbed a lot. He had a lot of matava and the FRA. Did the FRA pay you already?
No. I didn't take any mail to FRA.
Okay, this was just for your own consumption.
On consumption.
Oh,
No, but the question is, seeing as you are there, Mr. Mata, there are reports that farmers are not getting payments from FRA. What's going on? These people are gonna make us lose the elections. You don't touch our farmers. The government, we understand, released the money to pay these farmers like 2 months ago. What's going on, Bamaja? We are in October now. Actually, November 2nd.
What's going on?
What? Yeah,
What's
you tell
going
us.
on
You are
now?
on the ground. We don't want to be lied to.
What is going on now? The farmers who have not been paid anything have started receiving their inputs. So don't ask me about whether they've been paid or not paid, but they're receiving the inputs. As to whether they have been paid or not paid, I don't know. But they have started receiving their inputs. Fertilizer.
I think for the most part they've paid most of the farmers.
Let's not sugarcoat things.
Let's not sugarcoat it.
Farmers that are complaining. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's one or two people. At the end of it, gentlemen, it's all about perception.
Perception.
You know what's going to happen? The opposition are going to run with this issue and say 2 million farmers haven't been paid. And do you know what kind of commotion that's going to bring to the agriculture sector? I mean, Mr. Toropiri by now is all his people. I mean, this is something they should have had. I mean, come on, how many years are we going to give these people? What's going on? For me, when I hear stuff like that, really it blows my blind. That's what I have to say.
Okay, all right. So let's start the show, because that one is more of a deeper conversation and more of a topic on its own. That obviously we would need some people to come and explain why. That it is what it is. But let's start the show. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for joining us. Of course, like I said, we've got Wakalinda, joining us, and of course Wamasha, who's just dropped out, I think, or he's still there. And
the video.
Oh, he's having network issues. Yeah,
as always in Zambia, it's always about the
network issues. So, but of course, we got a lot of topics to look at and dissect. And I think the most burning issue right now that it's everywhere on the internet, it's everywhere in all African countries. It's what's happening in Tanzania. So Tanzania, of course, we know that there's been unrest. Riots have been sprawling down the streets of Dar es Salaam and everywhere. It's also have moved on even to as far as Kenya, and the Kenyan young individuals have joined that, and people are saying, will that also happen in Zambia? You know, so they seem to be some sort of a disagreement. She's won 98% today as we speak. 98% of the votes she's won, and she's the president as we speak. Whether she's whether the people is protest, but she is the president as we speak. Now, Rakalinda, since you're one of the professional journalists, I'm sure you're keeping tabs on issues like this that are happening across Africa, and it's not only Tanzania, Cameroon as well. There's so much going on, Sudan. So Tanzania, what's happening there? Why are people not happy with their current leader, Samir?
Well, I mean, I think that's a multi-layered, problem in Tanzania, or Tanzania, however you want to pronounce it. But I mean, let's look at it this. Tanzania got its independence in 1961, right? Mm-hmm. They have only been led by one political party called the LCCM, whatever you call it.
It's the CCM, Chama Mapinduzi Party.
Whatever that is. Yeah. So they've only been led by that one political party, right? The only things that have changed in the last 65 years of that country's existence, it's the players on top. Okay? That's the only thing that's changed. But it's one political party. I mean, stemming from that, I thought the lady that came on, whatever her name is it Professor, whatever. Anyway, I thought she had, she was going to follow through the late president, the one she took over from, what is Magufuli? Is that the name? Magufuli.
Hold on, we got the doctor just jumped in before you continue. But Doc has also been dodging me. But Doc, how are you?
Good. How are you? How is everybody?
We're good. Now, since the doctor has come in, let me do my vuvuzelas, okay?
Okay.
For my wonderful Aussie husband, let me do my vuvuzelas.
Go ahead.
No, let forever. Whatever the weather.
Week 9, 30 more games to go.
Heart will leave you never. All right, Joe. I've done my babuzelas. Welcome back.
30 more games to go.
Oh my goodness.
The network is playing up on me here.
Okay, come on, Mr. Mwami. Sorry for, I try to be silly from time to time. Come on, Mr. Mwami. Yeah, no, we get you. You go ahead. I know you had some thoughts to speak about.
So, the reason why farmers have not been paid, from the grapevine, we hear that they are waiting for FRI to export the maize to Mozambique. Then when they are paid, that's when they'll pay the farmers their money.
Mm-hmm.
From the that was released by the government, Minister of Finance, like 2 months ago? They announced that they had released like $24 million to pay off.
Some have been paid. Not all that have not been paid. Some have been paid.
Well, I think it's a good problem if you look at it, because it shows that a lot of farmers actually, produced bumper harvests. Yes. So it's like there's no way the government is going to pay them immediately right there and then. Even in the past governments, people were even staying way much longer than now. It's even shorter. People maybe
no. It seems to me We are departing from what we promised these farmers. The promise was you drop off your bags of maize at the depots, you get your payments within 2 to 3 days. Let's not compare to what was happening in the PF. We don't want to go there.
Okay.
We promised, and that's what we've been doing.
Let's not go back.
Let's not go back to the PF. Let's go back to what we promised this time.
Fantastic.
It's less than a year before the next election. Please don't make me lose my cool on this. Okay.
I'm a farmer's badanda. Okay, so let's get back to the topic at hand. Let's not, go into a different way, because, like I said, that issue is something that we can tackle, later on. But we have what we need to discuss today, and of course, everybody has obviously looked on, the topics of discussion. So we're talking about the Tanzania issue, and you were just about to explain and finish, what's really happening there in Tanzania. If you can just, give us your perspective. And then, of course, we're going to hear from Bamasha and then Danny. Thank you.
Yeah, where was I? You guys put me in all kinds of direction. I forgot myself. So I was talking about the CCCM, right?
Yeah.
The only party that's ruled Tanzania, the only thing that's changed is players. Then we had Magufuli dying, and this lady coming in, whatever her name is. I can't keep up with all these names. I'm having a senior moment here.
I know it's Samia. Samia is one of our
Samia, President, Honorable Professor, whatever her last name is. So she comes in. She tries to go through the Magufuli, policies, and then, in my understanding, is along the way she lost her soul. Okay, and I believe she was not popular in that country. People are ready for other political players to come in on the scene. But you know how power is. Power is sweet. Because I remember back in the day, this is what really, I'm going back there because this is what this lady reminds me of. There was a political rally being addressed by May Soros in peace. Is it the second Republican president, Frederick Titus Jacob Chiluba, in Kabwe? He was really charged at that, political rally. We saw him. I think he was speaking, and then he stopped for a moment, took a glass of water, and then he told us. He looked in the camera and said, "Anybody remember that political party?"
I remember.
You remember?
That day I said,
I think Chiluba said that.
Yeah, he did. He said, "Oh, sweet."
He stopped talking from nowhere. He just started smiling and rubbing his eyes.
Yes.
And said, this seat you see here is sweet. It's very, very sweet. Then he continued. He paused from nowhere and didn't just mention it, and then. But people are saying he was a little bit drunk on that day.
Oh, or maybe he smokes a little chamba. Who knows? But anyway, whatever happened, though, it's exactly what happened to Samia. She realized, that she was in a hot seat, and I believe probably she's being used by who knows the underworld. So she wants to stay on, and then the people are not happy, especially the young people, and so and with everything else that happened, all of a sudden people have no access to the internet during election time, and there are reports about ballot tampering. I mean, if there are 11 candidates on presidential candidates on the ballot, how do you get 98% and you're not popular? And that's what leads us to the people on the streets rioting. And unfortunately, the police are being used and the army to, trample on people's rights and trampling on people's rights with, all those bullets that are being shot. For what? Because I understand right now we have almost up to 230 people, bodies in the streets. I think it's not fair. I mean, it's sad that the African Union are not saying anything. But bringing it back to Zambia, though, it's sad that our opposition parties are going to jump on what's going on in Tanzania, thinking it's going to happen in Zambia. Zambia is a different case. Tanzania has only had one political party. And when you look at our opposition with all the infighting, all the confusion, you wake up today, Fred Membe is no longer, socialist president. Tonse is just embroidered in all kinds of confusion. Do they honestly think that when our young people look at them, they think, oh, they'll hear what they are saying and go to the streets? Because right now we have the PF or Makebi Zulu holding the body of the sixth president hostage that he wants to use for campaign. I mean, what kind of nonsense? I mean, who is going? Anyway, let me stop there, because when I just look at the opposition, it's just like, oh my God. They're just gravitating to anything to think that, well, maybe whatever is happening to Tanzania is going to happen to Zambia.
No.
Yeah, but you got it wrong. Dog, come in, Dog.
Is it me or Bahamwami? Okay.
Bahamwami is dropped out.
Yeah.
All right. For me, I agree with what Bakalinda is saying there. It's the power, the sweetness of that power, and looking at this party that has ruled the country since independence. I was listening to BBC Africa, whatever, no, Deutsche Welle, whatever. They were saying that the fact that this party has been in power since independence, it has so many people that have been enjoying using this power that it has a very big base of people that are not in public that are still enjoying since independence because of this party being in power. So these are basically the people. They mentioned a number of generals, I don't know, but there are quite a number of retired generals that have been enjoying under Chama Chama Pinduzi. Okay, so this the base of Chama Chama Pinduzi is huge, and it has consolidated itself as owning Tanzania. You can imagine the generals who retired in 1980, those who retired in 1981, those who retired up to today. They were enjoying under Chama Chama Pinduzi. They are still enjoying under Chama Chama Pinduzi. So, though they are not in service, they are huge factors. Imagine the ministers who used to be ministers in the 80s, in the 90s, and they are still supporting Chama Chama Pinduzi because it made them who they are, and they breathe, eat, sleep Chama Chama Pinduzi. So all those people are really in control of the party and the country as a whole. Though we are just looking at this woman on top, the base is very, very broad and very solid. Okay, so this is why the democracy basically in Tanzania has been sort of it was a fake image to say, oh, Tanzania is a democratic country, but basically the people have been suppressed for all these years by very, very powerful single party. Anyone who talks, they were talking about the people that have died mysteriously in Tanzania for over these decades. So people disappear there because they say you don't talk against the government. They say the wars have ears in Tanzania. If you talk, you never know who is listening. Next time you disappear. So it's very, very likely that this is what is happening here. This woman was put in place, and she could not change anything. She looks like a good woman from the outside. She looks like a very humble woman. But I think she found a system which just told her, this is the way we do things, and this is what you need to be doing. All right? Because the brutality continued, and she was so she continued banning opposition rallies and arresting people. And just from day one, she arrested the first opposition party. 1 day in power, 24 hours in power, you arrest somebody. How can that be possible? It means she found the system already in place and she just had to follow what to do. Say, hey, we've been following this guy for the past 2 years. You are in, but we are arresting him tomorrow. 1 day after being sworn in power, and then you arrest an opposition leader? It doesn't happen that way. So there's an underground party structure, which is so powerful that it just tells whoever is there, do this, do that. You can't go around and do your own thing. And that's the first thing. The second thing that the Deutsche Welle said was the semi-independence of Zanzibar from mainland Tanzania has also contributed to this thing, in the sense that the Zanzibar people, where she comes from, they regard themselves as semi-independent from Tanzania. They are normally against whatever the mainland laws are saying, because they have their own laws, a little bit few laws that are only applying in Zanzibar. And then the rest of the laws, some of the Tanzanian laws do not apply in Zanzibar. So the Zanzibar people, where she comes from, they are somehow regarded as rebellious people who don't want to be part of Tanzania anyway. Okay? So for her to be appointed as the president, the majority of the Tanzanians who are from the mainland, they are saying, okay, why are you bringing this person who is, after all, advocating for independence of our island, and she now wants to rule us? But in the meantime, when we say this is the Zanzibar people say, oh, that's for Tanzania, not for us here. So it was that notion that these are people that want to be independent, and yet the Chama Pinduzi has appointed a person who comes from a semi-independent country, the island, to rule us all. So they felt that doesn't make sense. If you hear the chants of the people on the street, they are saying, let her go back to Zanzibar. Let her go back to Zanzibar. She doesn't belong to Tanzania. So that is, though it's a minor aspect of it, to me, the Tanzanian people would not want to be ruled by someone from Zanzibar because of what Zanzibar people talk about Tanzania itself. So they just feel that those guys are not fully Tanzanians, and they say bad things about Tanzania and and then now you want them to rule us? So to me, if they want unity between Zanzibar and Tanzania, Zanzibar, because of its population, should definitely be maybe the vice president position or something like that. That's the human nature. You want the majority to rule and not the minority. Look at what happened in Iraq. That's why Saddam Hussein was so dictatorial, in the sense that he came from the minority in Iraq. So if you rule the country and you come from the minority area of the country, it's very difficult sometimes, because most of the people regard you as a foreigner. Okay, well, he comes from there, or she comes from there, and she wants to rule all of us. So to me, if you want integration in that situation, you have to integrate, have a government of national. For example, she should have maybe had a vice president, a deputy vice president, whatever, from the mainland to balance the powers. But what I'm hearing is that the cabinet was mostly Zanzibar, this Zanzibar people, and the Tanzanians just felt that they're being ruled by the wrong people. So that's something that people should realize. That's what's happening, But the main factor of this dictatorial tendencies is from the base of Chama Pinduzi, which is very, very, they don't want to leave. The power is sweet. They have been there for years and years enjoying. You can imagine the enjoyments they've been enjoying all these years. They don't want to leave it. And that's why they're so dictatorial right now. I submit.
Well, fantastic. With me, I think my submission on this is, yes, just like everybody else has said, they've been ruled by one party. Julius Nyerere, who was, one of the founding fathers and Pan-Africanists, just like David Kaunda, just like all these others, that were in the same group and same intake, for lack of a better word, at that time. They had a position and they had a way of doing things. That's why Kaunda, had ruled Zambia for 27 years, right? But Zambians woke up a little bit faster, and they said, look, I think we need change, and we need change of leadership. Because if a leader, no matter how good that leader is, no matter how brilliant that leader is, change needs to happen. And it needs to be across the board, and it needs to be not a one-party state. So the one-party state system, even though in Tanzania it looks like it's not one-party state, but it is actually one-party state, because if one party has been ruling, for over 50 years, okay, then what's been happening to all these oppositions? So I think they've come to the party a little bit late, but it's better late than never. Zambians, they woke up long time ago and they said, look, we don't need UNIP anymore. We need to bring back that multi-party system that's going to give us an opportunity to choose a leader or a political party of our choosing and like.
Mm-hmm.
That actually didn't, of course, we saw MMD, we saw PF, we UPND, all these other different parties, But at the time, when Julius Nyerere, Kaunda, they had a very different vision at the time. And their vision was sort of like a Pan-African system where, it has to be one party and one president that's going to rule. But who's going to rule forever? And which party? Like you're saying, the party itself has been, been there for over 60 years, and it's had members. And all these members, you can imagine up to now, they're still benefiting. Would they want to lose that sweet? Just like what Kalinda was saying, this seat is sweet. Would they want to leave the sweet? Even in fact, I can even, quote, Bowman Lusambo when he was being interviewed on Radio Phoenix. He said, "Iwe bakuvikira obwali bwanama, ero watowera fyo mkusumo, like you just get a test, and then they tell you, no, don't eat anymore. Are you going to agree?" So that's how it is. The power is sweet. That power is so sweet, and that political party is there. I think they're doing a disservice to the people of Tanzania. I think they need to let the people choose which political party they want to come in power. But it is what it is. She is the president, So, but I've seen the pushing for the military, to side with the citizen or something like that. They want some sort of a Sierra Leone kind of thing, according to what I was seeing and watching on Al Jazeera. You find like the protesters, they're busy, chanting to the military. You say, so who knows what's going to happen? But like you're saying, there's so many generals that have been there for years and years and years. I don't know how possible that's going to be, and I don't know the future of Tanzania. But the big question is, where are all these big organizations? Where is AEU? I mean, where is the African Union?
They have spoken.
Okay.
They have congratulated her, and they have said they wish her good luck. The African Union has released the statement. Yeah, yesterday. They said congratulations to President for your victorious what. It's crazy.
The African Union is toothless.
They have released the statement.
They are a bunch of cowards who are only interested in what's in their best pockets. Interest. Nothing else.
It's a useless organization.
I don't even know why as Zambia we are part of it. But anyway, having said that, I think for us, let's narrow this idea of the opposition parties just jumping at things that are happening around us, thinking if Malawi went the Peter Mutharika way, that's what's going to happen in Zambia. If, whatever confusion is happening in Tanzania, it's what's going to go in Zambia. I mean, what kind of thinking, what are those people thinking? Like, why can't they put their houses in order first? You know, he's not a Mr. now, Dr. Freddie Membe. Put your house in order. You're not even the president anymore, because I understand Socialist Party is now under Kelvin Kaunda. Wherever that guy came from, we have no idea. And then the whole madness in Tonse. Who's going to lead Tonse? Is it first of all, who's going to lead PF? I mean, PF is not even here, because now PF is broken up in 4 or 5, factions. Legally, on paper, PF belongs to Chavinga, and Chavinga says there's no convention. We are the only. What are these other PF factions going to do? Because they were trying to use the National Congress party, and look where that's led them. But I'm thinking Mundubire is working with that party over there, the Congress party. And Lubinda with Nakachinda, who is, how many years did he get? 2 years or a year? By the time he comes back, will be in the second term of President Hagande's, term. And Nakebi Zulu trying to lose Edgar Chagwalungu's body to propel his presidency into Zambia. What kind of nonsense is that? Somebody, please help me.
Well, Vakalinda, it's very sad. I think you brought up a very important point or a topic. It's very, very sad to see the leaders that people think maybe they might be, presidents for Zambia in the future, to come up with statements that will be championing civil unrest in their own country. Where is your patriotism?
Tell me about it.
What happened to you being a leader for the people? You want havoc to happen in Zambia? Are you sure that's the message you're sending to your followers? Personally, I wouldn't want to follow such a leader, because I know that this leader that is going to be a problem if he ever had to be ushered in power. He would be one of those leaders that will do things their way or the highway. It's either their way or the highway. Like, there's no other way, just their way. It's not a person that's going to listen to the people.
Tell me about it.
So those type of leaders are actually very, very dangerous, because they believe a system that has never worked in Africa, and a system that's been failing to where they get it from. They're using a template, in Venezuela and all these other places, and it's failed tremendously, and they're trying to bring it in Zambia and Africa, which it can never work. As Zambians, tefotwava, especially Zambians themselves, tatuate mwenkondo. Us Zambians are actually very peaceful people. We love our freedom. And if Zambians they okay, what is the point? Okay, what is the main reason why would Zambians stand up to start throwing stones and stuff like that? Okay, last time it was in the 80s when things went bad because of Kaunda staying for too long. The other time here and there, but for the most part, this government is doing its best. And we cannot lump all the problems that have been happening for the last 60 years on one political party and say, solve it now. If you don't solve it, then we're going to go to the streets. No. It's very unfair. But Danny.
Yeah, the opposition response to the Tanzanian what just shows how immature they are in their ideologies. There's no way you can wish something bad to your country and say, I want to rule a country that will be broken into pieces. It just doesn't make sense. And each and every one of them were saying, oh yeah, this is coming to Zambia. Yes, this is coming to Zambia. It's coming to Zambia, and then you want to lead. It doesn't just, to me, to be honest, I haven't, even Munduvire hasn't said anything, and that's, if you can't say anything, just keep quiet. That's better. So Munduvire is quiet, which I like. Don't comment on such type of thing. But most of the Calabas, the what? Oh yes, this is coming to Zambia. It's a matter of time. It's, to me, it's very, very unfortunate to have that type of opposition. But as Akalinda said, right now, I don't even, with few months to go before the elections, I was listening to my brother Kashambatwa on radio and TV the other day. He was saying this will be a very, very strange election in the sense that it's the first time since 1964 that we've never had proper opposition challenging the incumbency. Nothing. There will be nothing next year. There will be no credible opposition opposing our party, UPND. Zero. I know some people say, don't say that. It's true. There's no way these guys can get organized within 5 months. They have 5 months to organize themselves. 5. Okay? To go to a convention, find a leader and market the leader and then win.
No. I mean, first of all, they have to register a party.
Yeah. So remember the last 3 months, mm-hmm. 3 months of before August. So we're talking about June. Actually, we're talking about May. Mm-hmm. May, June, July. So these last 3 months, every political party should have already finished their campaign. You don't campaign mm-hmm. the last 3 months. So basically, they have only December, January, February, March, April, May. That's it to do their work. And knowing them right now, if they have to choose a candidate, they have to go to the national convention. They have to organize money for a convention. That mm-hmm. takes months. They go to convention.
I mean, registration, organize a convention, and in the meantime, they have a body that they have to bury.
Yeah. And you remember, the ballot boxes have to be printed within the next 2-3 months.
Correct.
So, if they delay, the Electoral Commission of Zambia is going to say, we have to print these ballots. You don't print ballots a day before the elections. You print them months before the elections. So they need to come up with the candidates basically within the 4 months. Otherwise, the train will leave the station.
Oh, the train has failed. I mean, the way I look at it, the train has failed.
Yeah.
Because we are at a standstill. I mean, they can't organize. They can't be seen to be organizing themselves because they have a body which is in the mortuary in morgue in South Africa. That's not being moved. And then we have also the South African faction who are saying, hey, if the president decides to, I mean. Who told Makebi that HH wants to come and witness his ECLs? But who told him?
The South African.
What a stupid way to release a statement to the Zambian people. Oh, if the president just steps aside, the body will bring it tomorrow. I mean, how many times has he changed his stance? It's like, if we move a needle just an inch, he'll come back and move that needle 2 inches back. What are you thinking?
The BBC, South African Broadcasting, that same day they asked the Zulu about that statement. They said, "Oh, we don't want HH to be near." Then they said, "Do you know that HH has been leaving the country for sometimes 2, 3, 4 days?" And then he comes back. Why don't you take the body when he's out of the country? HH has been making international tours. He goes to UK. That time he went to Britain. He was there almost a week,
Uh-huh.
If they wanted to take the body in his absence, take flight then. Because it was away. Go. And, why don't you use that opportunity if you don't want, he goes out. Very soon he's going to go out for another week or so outside the country. So take it. Said no, he can fly back. No, he can't.
No, but I mean, in true sense, the Zulu faction, they have the right to the body. I mean, it's just that we have somebody who is like, I mean, I've always said about HH. He's too much of an SDA elder.
Yeah.
The courts gave the Zambian government the powers to get that body from South Africa and bring it to Zambia. Yeah. I don't know why our government is doing that, but they're not doing it. Yeah. On the sites, I've spoken to one Kabesha. He says we're just gonna let it play out. What does that tell me?
The government thinks that they'll get fed up.
No, I mean,
the government thinks that they'll get fed up.
They are very lucky I'm not in State House, because me, if I was in State House, that body would have. The same day the South African government gave me the right to have permission to get that body, we would have buried that body already by now.
Yeah, that's true.
Because right now, I mean, we are the government. I mean, this Christianity, we get it. We are all Christians, but some things you just have to take. In Tonga we say you have to take the horns of a bull as it's fighting. So we see who can win it. That's how it is. I mean, Zambians have moved on. Yeah. And I mean, I can tell you that it would be a sorry day or state of affairs in Zambia. I mean, I think this is one president that we are going to take home to bury, and people won't even care, because Zambians have moved on.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, because when you ask most Zambia, they're even telling you, it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, when you have Zambians on the streets talk like that, what does that give you? And you want to use the body to campaign. You think you're going to win?
He said, if I don't stand as president, I'm gonna sin against God. God has told me I should be the next president.
Yeah.
Yes. I mean, didn't he release a week in the same week? This week he released a statement that he had a conversation with Lungu, who told him he's going to be the next president. Who talks like that?
How many people have brought up that issue or that story? KBF says the same thing. All these other people in the opposition, even Nakachinda says he told me. So everybody was promised, but who is? So, just on, tapping on Makebi Zulu statement, I think, to me, it sounded a little bit funny, because like the back and forth is really, people are like, what really is the problem? Because the reasons they're bringing across are very irrelevant and very trivial. For him to come up to say, oh, if the government writes to us to say HH won't attend the funeral, then tomorrow will be on the next plane. Really? I think that's not a breakout of any deal.
So childish.
Whether they want it or not, I don't think I don't think they even want to bring the body, because there's something deeper than what an average Zambian is seeing. Yeah. And then all of a sudden, what do we see? He wants to stand as the president. So he wants to stand as a president. He's the family lawyer. He's representing the family. Isn't that conflict of interest?
Mm-hmm.
And he's the one on the negotiating table.
Yeah.
When they say we're talking to the government, how are you going to negotiate with somebody who's your opponent in the next coming general elections? Because obviously now it has become political now. It's no longer a family issue. It's political.
But this issue has been political from the inception.
Okay, so these are the issues that Zambians now have woken up and saying, no. If really you're coming up to say, oh, I want to be the president of Zambia, now, how are the Zambian people going to listen to you? If one, you're just displaying how bad of a leader you are, or how bad of a negotiator you are. Because if you are put in charge of negotiating this, really, an average Zambian because you call yourselves the Patriotic Front, who's very patriotic to the country, they could have listened to the greater good and to the people. 100% of the people are saying, bring him back, we want to bury him, because he wasn't the president of the family, he was a president for Zambia. And Zambia comprises of all these provinces, different parties. Even the PF themselves, the party members are saying, we want to bury our president here in Zambia. So why are they just holding on to it like Ichtumbi, Tabakwate, a political a song or a political, what do you call it, a political anthem or campaign, So which is very sad. That's what they're doing. But I think that issue has been exhausted. Let's go to the next topic, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you saw that. Kasonde Mweenda, you know, the so-called one man party, National Neka Party leader. He went and sued the government to say, because of load shedding, I'm going to sue the government because they are load shedding the Zambian people, and because the Zambian people need to have power, and they're exporting, blah, 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 blah. So he has sued the state. I don't know what you guys think. Whoever wants to tackle this first. Then.
That's just madness. Is everyone knows the reason why we have load shedding, and if the government had just sat in the chair and do nothing, that would be another case. But right now, we know how many projects, the alternative projects for generation of power the government is involved in. I was so shocked when I saw that list of how many solar projects they are doing right now. More than 50 right now across the country. That's a lot of projects being worked on right now. So in the next few months or so, we're definitely going to be on top of this problem. So Kasonde Mweenda is just a dreamer or whatever. He's an alarmist. You can see he's always talking as if he's got some better terms, like constipated or something like that. You look at his face. So it's I don't know. It's being an irresponsible citizen, in my view. But otherwise, everyone knows the government is doing its best to alleviate the situation. Yeah.
Rakalinda.
Okay, for me, here's I'm going to sing a song in Tonga, and then I'll translate that. In Tonga, we have a song. You know, when a child does something wonderful, magical, and we get together as a family. Any Tonga family will attest to this. Usually parents would sing to you with this song. They would say, Waga haraji anga chindi jage, waga haraji anga chindi jage, waga haraji anga chindi jage, waga haraji anga chindi jage. Meaning,
I know Chindi this time.
Yes.
The person who gave birth to a fool, that's his problem.
Yes. And in Kasonde Mweenda, I don't know what Kool-Aid is drinking or what he's puffing. I mean, I don't know. When I listen to him, I look at him and I ask myself that, is this man sane? Because he comes up with I think he's he's out of touch with reality. You know, like the dog says, the man is an alarmist. The man is out of touch with reality. I mean, I don't know. I think sometimes he thinks he's already the president. I mean, he has issued so many outlandish statements from the time he formed that political party that he claimed. I mean, it has this mantra, the legs shall take us there. So the legs are going to take him to China if he continues. That would be my word of, I mean, I don't see it. How do you sue the government? I mean, it's different if you have a government that's sitting on its laurels, but you have a government that's bringing in investors to try to alleviate the problem. Now, big investors that are coming into the country, starting off with the recent investment that went into Sri Lanka. What's that? What United Capital? With their fertilizer, right there in Sri Lanka, attached to that investment, they're also producing solar that which provides power for them, and then the extra is being put into the national grid. Talk about Tisamba Solar. That's been, that investment right there. They have, power. They are producing that goes into their, factory. The extra is being given to, Mamba quarries. This government came in. They found a $600 million date, and Mamba quarries was almost coming to a halt. They have been paid, and they even expanded on their power production. I mean, all these power stations, in my own father's backyard, right there in what's that word? What is that area? Not Shibunji, that's where my father's house is. What's before Shibunji? There's a
Mumba. Is it Mumba?
Yeah, Mumba. They just, there's a 50 power generation company that mining. I mean, it's also, giving us extra power. I mean, there are all these solar things that are under, being manufactured or produced right now, which are probably by the end of this year, you're going to see a lot of power generation that's going to be fed into the national grid. We are all reading it. We are all seeing it. I mean, it's not just,